Here we are in Vienna, Austria. On the left is the State Opera House. On the right is our hotel, the Bristol. The view from our window looking at the State Opera House. 1,700 seats in the State Opera House. Mr. Berg is remembered as one of the most important composers of the 20th century. He's also known for having preserved the Viennese tradition in his music. Opera House is a hotel soccer with a soccer court. There's a line to get the soccer court. Later in the afternoon, I discovered that right around the corner from where people are in a line was a separate entrance where you could go into the cafe. You can also order the cake to go. I shortly discovered there was no one waiting just to buy a cake. I bought a small one, took it back to my room, and enjoyed it. And it was not dry at all. Delicious. Art Gallery, the Albertina, is the largest residential palace of the Habsburgs. Today it has one of the largest and most important print rooms in the world, with about 65,000 drawings, 1 million old master prints, along with more modern graphic works, photographs, and architectural drawings. There's still about 200 palaces in the city. These would be winter palaces, and then they have their summer homes. About 70 stallions in their collection. There is a horse in there. They come here when they're 4 years old. They're born black by number 8 and 10. They're totally white. They get white hair in their old age. Right in front of the Hofburg Palace is the ruins of a Roman military camp called Vindobona that was here from the 2nd to the 4th centuries. That is not a church dome down there. That's the entrance to the Habsburg Palace. This is a high-end shopping. Said that this big wide road used to be a river and a moat. St. Stephen's Church. This plague column was erected after the Great Plague Epidemic of 1679. And they haven't had a big plague since then. Less Jews were killed in the plague, so of course the Christians blamed the Jews, said that they caused the problem with pigeons. So they brought in some falcons, and no more pigeon problem. At 446 feet tall, St. Stephen's Cathedral's tower was built from 1368 to 1433. Over 300 steps up. This is the roof of the cathedral, post-World War II. Strasse. This is a shopping street that goes to our hotel. A store that has traditional clothing, lederhosen and stuff. And this was a new market square. And here for their water. Good water.
And in September, national elections. Here on the right-hand side, we have the Court Theater, which was built by the Habsburg family for the nobility. Also, this is where Sigmund Freud was a regular. He had his private apartment and consultancy room nearby. And what he did after lunch, he would take a walk along the Ring Boulevard, okay? And then he would go there and smoke 20 cigars a day. He had mouth cancer. He died from it. Look to the right-hand side, guys. There you can see parts of the old ramparts which belong to the city wall. The Ring Boulevard was laid out more or less on the site of the former city wall. Stock exchange. It does not house the stock exchange anymore. It's moved out after a fire broke out in this beautiful building on the right, and across the canal, you will see the Danube Canal in a moment, was the Soviet sector. And the Americans wanted to drive it home to the Soviets. Look how open-minded, how modern-minded we are. We allow the Viennese to build this high-rise building. So there it is. On our left-hand side, where the main river flowed through the city. Originally, this was the main riverbed. But we had much more rain in former times. And we had floods here in Vienna on the right-hand side. Bad, very bad floods. Which is why in the 1870s, this was a very large project. They rerouted the main Danube River further east, about, I would say, a kilometer further east. You must have crossed it. We're going to cross it in a moment anyway. And they converted the former main riverbed into deep and narrow canal. About the foundations, 800 after Christ, the church was built where the Romans founded their military quarters. So Vienna is a Roman foundation. It was founded right on the Danube River. It had, the military quarter had a square floor plan, 6,000 soldiers. This was the size of one legion, and they lived up there. And then after 400 they left, because the Roman Empire already started to crumble. And then finally, 300 after Christ, there was a Roman emperor. He's not famous. He's only famous in Vienna. And the reason why he's famous is that he allowed the soldiers, the Roman soldiers, to plant, to grow the vines themselves here. So we've had wine growing here for the last 1,700 years. I'm not sure whether... It's 3 miles long. Look, it goes straight into the heart of this park, which is our Greenland. The Prater Park. It's a very large area. Here on the right-hand side, you can see the giant Ferris wheel. That structure was invented in America. In Chicago, there was the World Trade Fair in 1893, and there was the first giant Ferris wheel built there for the occasion, you say? Late 1890s, and ours is the only one that survived. And this church is called the Jubilee Church. Looks very old. It looks like a Romanesque church, but they built it in 1908 in the Romanesque revival style. And it's called the Jubilee Church because it was built on the occasion of Franz Joseph's 60th anniversary in power. And now this is the real Danube River. Look, this is where all the shipping takes place, where the cruise liners are docked. So this one used to be a very shallow side arm, and then in the 1870s they had dredges that were powerful enough to excavate a deep riverbed. And now we're going to cross over an artificial island, which was made in the 1970s and 80s. And it divides the main river from another section, which is our ocean, guys, you see? So alongside you have grassy beaches, and here you can swim, you can water ski here further down. Yes, it's in Old Town. So the city of Vienna determined, that's quite a few years ago already, in which areas of the city of Vienna you are allowed to build high-rise buildings, and this is one of them. This is actually the most important one. Sorry, International Atomic Energy Agency in there, the Industrial Development Agency is there, and darker color. And then further down you have lighter green slopes, and these are the vineyards, guys. The vineyards of Vienna are right there. And at the foot of the vineyards, we have wine taverns run by the owners of the vintners, where they sell us their wine and their food. 3 miles long, and it is called a ring boulevard because it forms a circle. We have to say it's a dented circle, but it is a circle. And in this section of the ring boulevard, we have very lovely buildings, and these buildings were the home to one family. So the newly knighted business people, the aristocracy, bought a plot here, and they built their mansion to show off what they could afford. And